All right, welcome back, everybody. Sorry for the setup again. Hopefully, everyone can hear me. With any luck, if anybody has any audio issues, do let me know, please. That would really, really be ideal. So yeah, just to sum it up for people who are here for the first time or are curious why Greece isn't being live streamed, my flight got cancelled, so Greece is being recorded. Thankfully, some of the guys over there are giving us a hand. They are recording the matches for us, and they are going to be sending that over tonight. And I'll hopefully be casting those in the next maybe week and a half before Manchester, for sure, is the plan. At the moment, unfortunately, those of you who have kept up with our Twitter have known that we had a couple of technical difficulties, unfortunately, for France. So I've got the list in front of me here. Unfortunately, for Standard, we lost round 2 of Swiss to a somewhat illegal play. It didn't affect the game, but I'd imagine it's sort of doesn't really do anything to watch a game that there's like a very big illegal play that happens early on that, although it doesn't affect the outcome, does I'm sure will come up in the comments and kind of maybe harm people's enjoyment of the game. Unfortunately, our stream also kind of died between rounds 5 and 7. And then I believe we lost top 4 as well. So we got top 16, top 8, and finals. So France was a bit of a cluster, a bit of a rough day, let's call it. Thankfully, though, for premium, we did only lose. I believe it was exactly round 4. I believe we only lost round 4 for premium. Thankfully, so we'll be able to go through that hopefully either tomorrow or on Monday. So obviously, Station will be going through all of that and trying to catch up on all of our rounds. I'm probably going to give people a couple more minutes to chime in, and then we're probably going to get started. But yeah, like generally, it's actually been a really, really interesting season so far to keep up with. So obviously, we had Vienna, which we got to see things like Glendios show up in. We got to see Olden. Okay, Olden was more last year in fairness, but we got to see Minerva win Vienna, which was really impressive. Congratulations to John Sheet for doing that. And obviously, it made second place in Worlds a couple of years ago, so maybe he can continue that run this year. That'd be kind of crazy. Obviously, we had Kalen win with Katana World in Italy of all decks. So that's been really, really cool to see. Unfortunately, Katana World hasn't quite had the run that you would have hoped to have to follow up that, because obviously it made almost, I think there were 3 Katana Worlds that event, and almost all of them made top cut. 2 bubbled, 1 won the event. But interestingly enough, we've been seeing a surprising amount of, like, I suppose, buddy fight decks do well this season. I believe it might have been Rosemont. Well, I know one of the American BCSs was won by Azida Haka player. So that's been pretty cool to see, actually. And yeah, just been seeing kind of getting to see how the meta develops in the past kind of few months, really, with set 11 shaking things up quite a lot, and with any luck, set 12 doing the same. Obviously, set 12 came out, I believe it was last week. So I think we're going to start to see a lot more deep lands starting to show up from maybe even as early as this weekend. I know Greece only had about I think it was 47 or 48 players. So I think we're looking at maybe around 5 to 6 rounds with a top 8. But yeah, it'd be really interesting to see what comes out of that. So I'm very excited to receive the recordings. Really sad I couldn't be there myself. It's the first BCS I'm missing in about 2 years. So very unfortunate, but unfortunately we had some trouble with the flight. What we're probably going to be doing in a moment is we're probably going to start transitioning over to our main match, actually. I think if I'm going to be transitioning that over here. Oh, there we go. Let's see how long have we got. There we go. Yeah, so what we're probably going to be doing is there's going to be a bit more of a casual setup because obviously we're not doing this live exactly. So it's going to be a little bit more scuffed. In fact, you're going to get a bit of behind the scenes on how the recordings tend to go for this when we are unable to do the event live. Sometimes we do it on site, sometimes we're not quite able to. Unfortunately, this is one of those times. But yeah, we also got... my brain wants to pronounce this Brizzi, but I don't think it is. Versus Frank, which is actually a really interesting Dragon Empire matchup. We're looking at Bavsagra versus Dragonic Overlord. So unfortunately, well, I suppose fortunately in a way, across both days, we ended up landing on 3 separate Overlord players. Unfortunately, we did lose one of those games in day 2. But somehow, I believe it's either round 1 or round 2 of both days, has a Dragonic Overlord player. which is, if I had a nickel for every time that happened, I'd have two, which is not a lot, but it is very strange that it's happened twice. But yeah, it's interesting seeing kind of decks, especially like Buff Saga, are still showing up in the format. Especially after kind of all the hits it got, with Trick Moon and Firelord going to 1 and losing Drag Vader. It's been interesting seeing how the deck develops. Some people have been going for more Kanshati heavy lines, and a lot of people have been going for what we're fortunately going to be seeing here, which is XOD Bav. So a slightly, I suppose, tankier variant. The numbers do get a little bit smaller with you not getting to proc Firelord as often as you did before, and a slightly lower reliance on Yukma Shard. But you do get to kind of filter your deck quite aggressively with your Apparajas, and make really, really big Ars Virina columns. Not to mention, those Ars Virina columns are never getting the crit, but they are holding up to 4 Trick Stars in the soul, which is nothing to scoff at. If we just fold this, I believe we're gonna. There we are. I think they were just saying so, waiting for the judges to get started. And yeah, going to be very, very interesting. Getting to. Oh, let me catch that. Oh, right. Okay, there we go. I know what's happening there. Sure. It is. Bear with me. There we are. But if we were just on, I know the players have got a bit of prep going on. So yeah, there we are. And we're going to be continuing. They're doing them all again, just deciding who's going to be going first. Again, sorry, we're handling recording, so it can be a bit wonky sometimes, where we don't quite know if the camera's frozen or if anything is going on with the players. Obviously, in this case, the judges are talking to them, letting them know exactly how this is going to go down. I think this was actually me confirming with them that they have their own timer. But yeah, so I believe this is interesting, actually. So I think it really depends who goes first, right? Because obviously Overlord has recently gotten its brand new order. I keep calling it Apocalyptic Flame, but it's not. It's Scarlet Flame, isn't it? It's like I keep having its right chant in my head. So the thing with the Scarlet Flame is that it allows you to draw one, call one, retire something. But more importantly, you can EV3 remove it from your drop zone. If your Vanguard is Dragonic Overlord, you can ride a Dragonic Overlord the end from your deck. And then if you didn't ride this turn, you can deactivate Persona Ride. So what you're able to normally do... Oh, sorry, this if you didn't ride from your right deck this turn. Or if you didn't ride from a grade 2, I think is the phrasing. So it lets you kind of always hit the end immediately. You get to really cut back on main deck slots, because you don't need to run base Overlord in the deck anymore. And then you're able to just double Persona Ride for the rest of the game. Which on a restanding Vanguard is pretty good, actually. If you believe it or not. Drive checking is, in fact, good. So I'd be really interested in seeing kind of how this matchup winds out. I think it is going to be really dependent on who is going first here. Because, kind of, yeah, there you go, Buff Saga is going first. Yeah, because Bav is pretty happy in both positions because they know they're never getting denied. Admittedly, finding a shield here is a bit unfortunate, but I don't think it's like a big deal at all. Because immediately you're going to search the deck. If you have the sword, you find the sword. Oh, sorry, if you have the shield, you find the sword, maybe. But I think if you're in a world where you're not getting damage denied here, you just thin a shield again. But, probably just to, like, counter the fact, like, maybe you just get a defensive OT on the one turn and it becomes unfortunate. Maybe you thin the sword here. But, yeah, unfortunately we had a bit of a glare that day, so it is a little bit difficult to make out exactly what's being said. But I'm sure we'll manage. Yeah, there you go, finding the sword, just playing it safe. And yeah, just probably passing over to, just immediately calling down the Shenri, swinging, he takes the damage. And yeah, immediately goes back over to the Buff Sagra. And yeah, it's going to be interesting because Overlord can pump out a lot of pressure, but it does have a tendency of gassing out. And Buff Sagra, if it's able to stabilize, might just be able to just control the deck through that. You just continuously have a lot of shield available to you in ways that Overlord just maybe can't really break through, unfortunately. Obviously, Buff Sagra loses access to Jack Vader recently, but maintains things like the purple overtrigger or the red overtrigger. I think in this case, Brizzi's prioritizing survivability and not just getting sacked out of the game, so he is running the purple OT in this case. But we've seen a lot of decks that run the red OT just to trigger the extra critical. So it's been really, really interesting seeing kind of what people choose to go towards, because it can be quite impactful in how you play out your turns and what you tend to go for. But yeah, just the Bellicosity. God, Bellicosity is such a high value card. And actually, for those of you who haven't seen too much of Overlord, I know obviously we've had one in Germany. But in case you guys haven't actually seen Bellicosity, hopefully we should be able to pull that up on screen for you guys. With any luck, thoughts? There we go, let's try that again. Oh, there, we'll try and pull that up in a moment. But yeah, immediately just kind of tri-laning the buff Saga again. You're trying to apply as much pressure as possible because late game you know they're going to have all the shield value in the world. So you're trying to prioritize this now when they don't really have that set up, and you're really hoping that that's just going to be enough for you. Yeah, we'll probably try and pull up the cards in a short bit. I think our plugin might be acting up a little bit, but we'll figure it out in between rounds, I'm sure. But yeah, already going to 2 damage. Yeah, there you go. Discarding the Trickster on Swampy, riding the buff Saga, or CB1, and now you're able to thin 2 weapons out of your deck and equip 1. And normally you try and mill another shield and whatever you're missing, so either mace or sword. If you already haven't seen both, so we know you've seen 1 sword, 1 shield for sure. And yeah, you're just immediately going to equip the shield because the draw 1 is just so important. Yeah, there you go. You're seeing the mace. Because yeah, obviously the mace is a free equip. So there are worlds you can add to hand and just start focusing on popping your opponent's back row, because this is one of those decks where they are going to have a lot of front row pressure. It can be the boosters that make all the difference. So being able to just pop your front row every turn and start sniping those back rows can really make the opponent commit a lot of cards from hand that they realistically shouldn't really be committing at this stage, because Overlord has a discard 2 to restand. And obviously if you have Halb, that's a discard 1 that revives itself. But if you don't, that is 2 cards out of their hand. So you can actually end up putting them in a really rough spot where they have to discard a lot more cards than you would expect from a quote-unquote modern Vanguard deck. Obviously you have your Scarlet Flames, which you're happy to discard, but, you know, a card in hand is a card in hand, right? So a card in hand is stuff you can PG with, it's stuff that you can really build your turn around, and being in a position where you're forced to discard those, especially against a deck like Buff Saga, can be pretty scary when your Vanguard is already triple drafting and already has a built-in crit. But again, this is just one of those symptoms of being a deck from, what's set 5, like 2022. So you're looking at a 3 to 4 year old deck. So just the fact that it's able to even compete is really impressive, and it's just a testimony to Vanguard as a game. There you go, yeah, puts a card into Soul, going to arm the mace, there we are, immediately pops the back row and gives the Vanguard plus 10k. Yeah, and immediately looks in the back row, and simply that looks like a Trick Moon Revive. And yeah, he's going to countercharge 1, there we are. And honestly, there is a rule that's just like enough. Yeah, it goes EB7, draw 1. No need to commit any Yugma shards, unless you have a really good like Ars Virina here. I don't think it's really worth it, honestly. Yeah, okay, there we go. We go for the Alparaja. There we are. Okay, no, so we are just like going pretty aggressively. Sure. That's fine. If we have a Cindy here, that's crazy. Looking at the discard, yeah, it's going to be a critical, which is not ideal. But I think if you're going to Ars Virina here, I think you're more than happy. You're just, yeah, you're having a Trickstar here. Yeah, presumably you have the Ars Virina here. And that's, you know, that's a sizable drop zone. I think the important thing is as long as you keep 1 Cindy and a weapon in rotation, like make sure that they are Soul Blasted after the Ars Virina is made, then you're ready for next turn. And also because of Apparaja and Cindy, this deck actually has a really powerful prison matchup, which again is nothing to scoff at. So you can see here, he's going to make the prison, he's going to edge early effect, he's going to give it resist, he's going to draw 1. And then when he Soul Blasts 2, obviously he's going to send a weapon in, and presume weapon and probably a grade, yeah, weapon and grade 2. It doesn't really matter what else goes out. And yeah, and he's going to be setting up that. So next time when he equips, when he re-equips the sword, he's kind of live again, because you can then revive the Trickstars over. And then if you have a Cindy, you just get another Ars Virina. So you get a really tight resource engine in Buff Sakura, especially with the XOD variant. So yeah, here he's swinging for 2 crit, massive numbers. First check, second, but we do see the Cindy coming out. The end of the Scarlet Flame going to damage is really not ideal. But if you're Brizzi, you're really happy with seeing that Cindy in your hand now, because like we said last turn, like just your value engine becomes so good. Yeah, and he just swings rear, gives him the crit, but again, you're happy to just rip cards out of their hand, because now the onus is on Frank to either heal out the cards, or he has to start showing us Scarlet Flames, he has to start showing us Halbs, and he has to be really like kind of piece reliant in a format that can't really afford it as much, because this deck is like not searching as aggressively. Obviously you have Latifah's, but the Latifa is another piece that is conditional on Scarlet Flame, which is another piece, right? So you don't want that kind of spiraling out of control to the point where, yeah, you can't really do it. But yeah, obviously we're seeing the Scarlet Flame here. We're going to see the EB3, and he's going to pick up his deck and find himself a Draconic Overlord at the end, which is end of battle. You may, so I think it's CB1 discard 2, and stand, and I think it loses a drive. But then if you have a Draconic Overlord in Soul, it doesn't lose a drive. So with us not having to run, because for a while, obviously, we ran this in the right line, and then we had to like run like Bellicosities and stuff to put the OG into Soul, which kind of bricked you up on grade 3s a lot. But Scarlet Flame is fantastic because it just means you ride line the old one, find the end off of your Scarlet Flame effect, and then next turn, yeah, you're just able to just find pieces so much easier. Yeah, and you got another Bellicosity Dragon here, and oh my, oh. Let me pull those up on my side because unfortunately the plugin's not working at the moment. But yeah, so effectively for people on West, so Bellicosity is if your Vanguard has only one clan and no G-Zone, on place you may EB3 and put a card from hand into Soul and draw 2. So it's a Pot of Greed. And when your Vanguard attacks against +5 can until the end of turn, not once per turn. So if you Persona Ride, so next turn for example, these Bellicosity are going to be swinging for 40k each. Because you're going to be 10k plus Persona Ride plus second Persona Ride plus 2 5s. So yeah, again, fantastic numbers here. So yeah, just this swinging for, I think it's, what's 28? I think Draconic Overlord, the end gains 5k as well, if I'm not mistaken. This is where I really hope I'm not like inventing effects in my head. But yeah, there we go. Checks the heal, and that's a Scarlet Flame. Again, you'll love to see it. Really, really good. And a crit as well. That's a fantastic drive check out of Frank here. Oh yeah, so it does also get 5k. There we go. Okay, so yeah, it is 28. Yes, we get, so that's what, 28, 31. Oh, sorry, 28, 31, 41? I think that's a 41 column. And yeah, unfortunately for Brizzi here, like, his hand's not massive, and like, well, he's looking at 2 Trick Stars, but tell you what, those Rhaegar columns are nothing to scoff at as well. We got to see the Halb come out as well, so yeah, it seems Frank just had everything in that game. Yeah, looks at the restand heals plus the shield. So that's going to be, what, 33, 58? 68? So he goes 2 pass? No, so he must have given one of the triggers Vanguard as well. First check, second check. No triggers, but an Elementaria. Now, unfortunately, Buff Sagara is not drive. It's not triple drive. It's drive +1. But Elementaria is still a PG, so I don't think you're ever, I don't think you're ever upset about having a PG for a Buff Sagara swing. But going to 4 damage against 1 is really, really rough, because unfortunately for Brizzi, like Frank healed at the exact point, like where he gets to go to 1, but send him to 3 or 4. So it's really tricky, and like really unfortunate as well. Yeah, and he just goes to 5 straight away. Because that's the thing as well. Like, I think Brizzi at this point goes like, look, I just need the resources to just pop off. Like, I need to do everything I can right now to just go off. Because he knows that, like, if he plays a fair game at this point, like, he will just get beaten out by Frank, because Frank's numbers next turn are going to be really high. So, like, Frank next turn is going to be demanding, what, like, so the over almost 100k shield, over 100k shield out of Brizzi's hand, and Brizzi's like, man, I don't think I got this, bro. Like, I might need a bit more. So it's like there does come a point where, like, if you get, oh, there you go, yeah, as well, we're seeing the Cindy come out. Yeah, and the Cindy is immediately just going to add 1 back. There we go. Go to Soul, add an Albalys to the hand, presumably. Or to be fair, you could add anything here, as long as you can then revive a Trick Star off of the Vanguard effect. That should be fine, really. Oh, what are we thinking? What are we adding? What are we looking at? There we go. Okay, we're going to add the weapon. Okay, so we're just going to add a mace here. Macing, I would assume the Vanguard booster? There we go, yeah. Because yeah, what we're trying to do here is we're trying to force him to, like, commit cards from hand repeatedly in order to have the Vanguard booster. Because the thing is, like, he's not going to have Halbs forever, right? And because he's on 0 CB and Halb is a CB, like, odds are he's probably going to try and have to take some damage this turn. So you can force him to take kind of like 2 crit triple drive swings on the off chance that you triple drive them. Because if the guard the Vanguard just take the rear, then like they're not having a turn, right? So if you basically tell them this Vanguard is all you're getting, like you will draw 3 cards, they will just lose cards in hand and then not get to restand. So like I think you're like not too unhappy with that situation. Like I think it's probably fine. Yeah, there we go. We're seeing immediately the trick start coming out on the arm. So we're going to EC1 and revive a grade 0. And the thing is, as well, because of the way the trick star in Swendy is worded, yeah, there we go. We just add that back to hand. And immediately cross over just the entire drop zone. And yeah, and like, there you go. Then you just show us the Vanguard swing. A bit greedy, I think. Not doing the Soul Blast 2 here, but I mean, sure, if you're feeling brave. To be fair, if he has the pieces in hand, I think it's probably fine. Or he might just be worried about numbers at this point. I think he might just be going, look, I need everything. I die if I don't. I just need to make sure this stuff connects. Which, I mean, fair enough, I suppose. And he goes, no guard. And he goes, first check critical, crit rear. Crit van power rear, second check. That's a heal. Again, really, really happy to see this. Again, power on the Arena. Ooh, healing out the Phylord is huge. Third check. That's a Persona Ride as well. So, you're not complaining. Heal that Swift. An over trigger that comes out, that's fine. And then the third check. That looks like another Bellicosity, which again, like, now you're 4-3, your hand is a bit healthier, his OT is out. In a way that doesn't really matter. Because Bafsagar is always 2 crits, so like, the difference between being on 3 or 4 is like not really that big. Because you're still like threatening lethal with every swing. And especially now, like, still he has 2 trick styles, which is not ideal, of course. But he does get to like try and play the game out for next turn. But the Scarlet Flame is going to give us plus 10k. Oh no, he's resolving the draw phase, so draw 1, call 1. Going to try. I believe he's going to be trying to draw here. Thoughts? Oh. Oh, what's going on here? What was happening for us? Oh, hello. There we go. I think we might have lost Twitch for a moment. Oh, there we go. There we go. Sorry, we are back. People just have a little hiccup over on the Twitch side, so apologies there. Hopefully YouTube's still looking fine. There we are. But you can really see the Overlord player having to really start digging for it. So we're seeing the Latifa for the top 5. And are they going to find anything good? Maybe? Hopefully? I mean, yeah, I mean, the Justine is not too bad. Yeah, sure. If nothing else, it's another deck then. Although I think those are on placed from hand, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, he's just, at this point, he is just trying to set up a board and just try and go for it. Yeah, it's all placed from hand. There we go. So yeah, no, we're not getting an effect of the Latifa there. Yeah, just for the Vanguard swing, so we're looking at what, 38? No, 28? Well, looks like a 2-pass. First check, second check. 2 blanks, Persona Ride, but I don't think you're the happiest seeing that at this stage. Yeah, goes a CB1. Discards, yeah, what looks like... Yeah, there goes another Halb. Yeah, I mean, if you're just that good, I suppose, sure. Immediately swings again. There you go, yeah, gives the Halb plus 5k. So are we 41 here? 41 2 check. First check front. Second check. It's another Halb. That's an Albalys going to damage. So I believe Brizzi's back on 5 now. And yeah, it's like, does he have enough? Because obviously we see the Albalys out now. Because we saw that get pop. Let's see, he's trying to calc out his numbers. That's what? 10, 20, 30, 40, 53. Takes the damage. And that's going to be GG. And that is going to be game 1 going to Frank again. Seeing Overlord coming out is really... Oh, it's still... Oh, God, is it still saying Italy? Wait, what? Huh? Oh, sure, my bad. Oopsie. I thought I changed that. My apologies. Let me... let me change that. 1 second. Bear with me there. Oh, no. Let's edit that. My apologies. I thought I did change that, but my bad. Let me update that instead. There we go. Hopefully that's if people refresh the stream now on the YouTube side, hopefully that should be fixed. My apologies there. Oopsie. But what we're gonna do as well. So sorry, I'm gonna get back to the match in just a second, because the one thing I am going to need to do is for the recording, I need to switch to here. There we go. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take a tiny pause, because am I running okay? Is it running all right for everybody? I'm going to take a tiny pause, just setting up the second round, and I'll be round 3, because unfortunately with round 2 we had Ray versus Fori, but there were a couple little mistakes which happened fairly on and irreversible. It didn't affect the end result, but there's no way of knowing, right? So guys, I would say don't go anywhere. I'll be right back with round 3. Unfortunately, so seeing Overlord pop off with the order is really interesting, but also Trigger's got to do that to a man. I think the crit heal there is pretty significant, but obviously really well played on both players' parts. Again, don't go anywhere. I'll be right back, guys. Stay tuned. I'll be right back in just a couple minutes with round 3. Just getting that set up for you. Don't go anywhere. One sec, guys. All right, welcome back, everybody. Hopefully, thoughts, maybe. Hopefully this works. Let me double check that this is all running now. With any luck, thoughts, maybe. There we go. Okay. So, sorry about that. OBS was having a moment there for me. My apologies. We should be fully back now, I think. But what we got is in front of you is a very exciting match between Andrej and Stev. Interestingly enough, it's actually a matchup we're maybe not going to see very often anymore, but it was a really interesting match to see when it happened. Because what we're going to be looking at here is, well, functionally, Jiva versus Hartleru, really, which is a really interesting matchup, in my opinion, as one of the premier Jiva enjoyers in the world. Because, yeah, we get to see a Hartleru going first as well. So Andrej here, again, one of the best players in the UK at the moment, kind of one of the newer players on the scene, but definitely one of the up-and-comers. Has been kind of regularly topping events, regularly doing well for the past couple of years. So again, now he's on Hartleru, normally a Stoicheia main. And yeah, you get to see a lot of practice and optimization. Because the thing with Hartleru as a deck is, I know we meme on it as like, oh, this deck is like so easy. Every card tells you exactly where to go, and like, yeah, that's true. But the thing with Standard is the skill set that Standard requires is very unique. It requires you to basically min-max all of your decisions, which is something where a lot of practice can really shine through. And I think these two decks are really good examples of that. So the thing here, for example, is like Andrej gets to go first, so he gets to apply a little bit more pressure. He gets to hit Persona right first, which is really important. Because you're basically trying to do it before Jiva is able to kind of plus off of its Persona right, which is where they kind of really start being able to stabilize. And yeah, you can see here, Stev is going to be really... Oh, that's not round 2. I'm a liar. I'm lying to you. Oh my goodness. Me when I just lie. Like, that's the thing. Like, you get to apply a lot of pressure, especially early on. So yeah, you can see like Stev here is finding his outpours, which are, surprise, really important. Because what outpour does for you effectively is it lets you on-place top 7. And when you then you're able to find either a Nirvana or a Talisman. So this is all of your Virenas, and just add it to your hand. So yeah, you can see here it just goes Cindy this, Cindy Apple Vanguard. So you get to go 5/5 and give me a Vanguard swing, and yeah, checks. Yeah, there you go, finds a blank. Andrej just draws a card. Yeah, unfortunately discards a crit here. Yeah, you can see that Andrej here is like, as a player who knows that this deck can be fairly grindy, and that like if both players sack a little bit, this does become a really grindy matchup. You can see Andrej playing really quickly. And that's just something that comes with a lot of practice, because if you play this quickly normally, you'll start making mistakes, and those mistakes can absolutely cost you games and runs. So you get to see a lot of kind of experience showing through, I suppose, because he's able to kind of immediately find the pieces he wants, make quick decisions, and sequences things in such a way that allows him to really make sure he loses as little opportunity cost as possible. Because, yeah, one of the strengths Jiva has now is that it is able to do that little bit of early aggro. So, especially with the Blaze Maidens, like, just throwing them back next turn, like, moving them to the back rows, and just being able to commit 18k columns is really important. Yeah, there you go, he puts the bunny in. Again, setting up for next turn. Swings at the Vanguard here. Because he goes like, look, I'm already on 1 damage, we're not playing this. He goes, yeah, OT pass. Andrej goes, heal, not a problem, bro. Passes turn. Unfortunately, Andrej is, like, stressing now, actually. Because all of a sudden, like, you wouldn't do this because you're losing so much pressure, but you as the Jiva player being on 0 damage means that, like, if there was ever a rearguard, there's a world you just swing into it. But here, Andrej knows that, like, realistically, there's no way the Jiva just doesn't swing here, right? So yeah, he's looking at it, he's going to be, like, discarding a card from hand, reviving a Prayer Dragon and a Trickstar. Yeah, just revives just Trickstar and Suendi. So yeah, there's a world where, like, yeah, he just discards something, Cindy goes to Soul, adds it back down, but we don't know what his hand's looking like right now. Yeah, there we go. Aparaja. Discarding the Alza Arena. Oh, okay, I see what we're doing here. Okay, sure. So yeah, what we're probably going to have to do here is find, presumably, either the grade 1 that adds back to hand, or another Trickstar. It depends how greedy we're feeling right now. I think the grade 1 Prayer Dragon is probably the correct decision, but it depends how confident Stev is feeling here, knowing that he's going to give Andrej pressure. Yeah, we're going to be finding another Trick Star right here. So what's probably going to happen, since we just saw our Soul Blast the Ars Varina, is there's a world where that Cindy goes to Soul, unless he just sits on 2 XOD cards in hand, and you basically make a crossover just with all 3 columns. Oh, what are we eyeing up here? Oh, maybe we are just going Ars Varina from hand. Surely not, right? This doesn't feel super worth. Okay, sure, we're doing a really conservative turn. Sure, so he's just looking at 13. So what's that? 13, 18, and 18? Oh, no, it's still grade 2. I am hallucinating. Oh my god, I am just hallucinating. I got so caught up on what happens next turn that I forgot we are not there yet. Yeah, Andrej shows us the 3rd order, and like the critical thing here is it's good that Andrej has the 3rd order, but it's does he have the 4th one? Because next turn it's going to be really, really important. Because yeah, the thing with Heart Lure is like a lot of your resource loop revolves around resting 2 orders and putting a card into Soul, but obviously the difference between 3 and 4 orders is a whole card. Which in a world where you're going to get popped for 2 every turn, that's like really, really important. Or in a world where you just need to recycle pieces. Because you're normally guarding with a horse and the bunny pops itself, so like you're always going to need to be remaking at least those 2. There you go, yeah, we find another horse goes to Soul. Very good. But yeah, we also know in this case that like, at worst, Andrej next turn can call out the grade 1. And the grade 1 can bind the grade 0 from the right line to search the 4th order. But like ideally, obviously, you don't want to have to spend a CB on that. Because where the deck doesn't really have CC except for the cat, you really don't want to be burning it. But here we get to see one of the techs that Andrej's been kind of touting in the past couple of events. So this list generally can afford to go blind second. Because the idea is, obviously, we used to run Tiskar, because if you go first, you have 3 spare energy for the rest of the game that you're never resolving. But what the going second list effectively says is, I am going to go second, I am going to call a 4-color on turn 2, I am going to EB7, and then all of your 4-colors resolve that turn, and then they resolve every turn going forward. Which means the only turn they're not live is exactly turn 1. But what that also does is it turns every future 4-color into a +2, which is really, really important. Or into like an active +1, right? Because like you call it to board, it kills itself, it draws a card, but then you also EB7. In the deck that you otherwise wouldn't ever really be able to EB7 in. And like the thing is, the confidence of going second there and getting to draw 1 off of going second is just like really, really important. And yeah, it's just something a lot of hardware players haven't really leaned towards yet. I believe this was popularized initially by Remain. So yeah, obviously to Gagas, obviously congratulations. It's been really, really well done. The list has been really, really scary to go up against, and we've been seeing it perform all season as well, which is really, really impressive. But it's going to be passing. It just starts taking all the damage in the world, because now Stev is like, wait, hang on a second. I actually need the CB? Hello? Yeah, and immediately starts to eye up his drop zone, thinking exactly what does he need, what is available to him here. Because we saw last time, we saw Paraja, which is basically just Mathmech Circular. It's on play, Soul Blast 1, discard 1, search your deck for any Prayer Dragon. Obviously, the new Trick Star is also a Prayer Dragon, so you get to play real greedy at that point. And another Aparaja. Okay, no effect here, presumably. That would feel really wasteful to have the effect. And yeah, you go Trickstar plus. Okay, no, plus Aparaja. On Strava Arena. Fantastic, we're going to draw another card. And then obviously Strava Arena also has Resist. Not that it particularly matters here. And then you go for the Bow of Arena as well. Very nice. So Bow of Arena, for those unaware, gains plus 2k for every open Rayguard cycle your opponent has. You can Soul Blast 2 any number of times. Each one you do, you pop an opponent's Rayguard. And then on attack, if your opponent has 1 or less Rayguards, you can CV1 and performs a drive check. Yeah, so there it goes. Immediately pops the 2 front rows. Obviously, Cindy goes to Soul as well, so we put it back into circulation. And now the Bow of Arena is plus 10k, so your whole front row is swinging for 23s and above. And especially when your opponent's 13, knowing that that outpour is going to make one of them 28 is really, really good. So yeah, like even here, you're going to get 5 drive checks this turn, functionally. Like, Stev is basically going for a turn where he burns out of CB completely. So this rear guard is going to go for 28k. He goes CB1, 28 with a drive check. He goes no guard, he goes first check. That's a heal. Oh my god, you love to see it as the Nirvana player. You absolutely love to see it. So you go, he gives itself 10k? Sure, okay. He checks 1 damage. Immediately we're going to swing. I suppose now the Alpo can give, yeah, the Alpo can now give the Stravarina 5k, it doesn't matter anymore. I think otherwise there would have been an argument to give it to the Bow, but in fact, I think the other way around. I would have probably given the 10k to the Stravarina, then the 5k to the Bow. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, April. He's been asking to go by Andrej going forward instead of Pape 2, so it is what it is. Because, yeah, I think that, like, the only sad thing in that sequencing is that, like, you do lose the 10k pressure that could have been on the Stravarina. So, like, where Andrej guards this now, he would have had to come in an extra 10k. Or an extra 5k, I suppose, which is important, in my opinion. Especially when you're already hitting for, like, magic numbers. But sometimes greed is the way, and yeah, immediately swing, and that's going to be blank crit. Yeah. Third check, thoughts? Thoughts? Maybe a third drive check? And that's a drag Vader. Easy money. Easy money. And yeah, like a free triple drive. There you go. Sure, why not? Make that a drive. So why not? Yeah, sure. All right. Yeah, cool. Forgive me, Andrej. I was unfamiliar with your game. I did not know you get down like this. My bad, bro. Swings, 1 more drive, smile? Smile, but what if? And the funny thing is, if you didn't bow there, you didn't get a Vanguard restand. And yeah, Andrej just dies on site. Super, super unfortunate. But that is going to be round 3, a really quick round. So if anything, the fact this is recorded is great for you guys, because otherwise you'd have been standing around for an extra, like, 30 minutes waiting for round 4. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quick, like, 1-minute break as I set up round 4. So don't go anywhere. In just about 1 minute, we'll be right back. Take care, guys. Guys, I'm gonna be so real with you guys. Round 4 is going to be one of the biggest yap sessions I think I've ever done. because one of the opponents, one of the players is Jasi, who's a good friend and somebody who a lot of you who keep up with the European scene might already know. But the second one is Albalys, I believe is how it's pronounced, and he is on he's on a buddy fight deck that I am not familiar with at all. I believe he's on Nazi Dahaka, which is one I'm not personally knowledgeable about, so it might be a bit of a yap sesh. So apologies in advance. I, for some reason, forgot that this happened, so I did get a chance to look up at the cards. My bad. From what I remember, so obviously we know this one. Again, I think it was Rosemont. I know April and Chow will be able to convince me. Not convince me, but remind me whether that's correct or not. I believe it was. But again, I'm going to have to, on occasion, pull up some of these cards. Because, yeah, unfortunately, I've not seen a single Azida Haka, I think, in Europe in quite a while. So I'm going to have to be pulling up the cards semi-regularly. Because if I remember correctly, I think Azida Haka, there's like one of two, it goes to your back row. And it's like pseudo buff Sagara. But yeah, obviously you're going to go against Vaga here, going first. Because yeah, I think the whole gimmick of the deck is like revolves around dragons, if I remember correctly. And then it's like, if you're Vanguard with Azida Haka, it can be basically just called to the back row center, like ignoring its grade. And I know that there's two Azida Hakas. And that is where my knowledge of this practically ends. But interesting, from what I remember, like, apparently the deck can have, like, a reasonable grind game, actually. So it would be interesting seeing how it can, like, if it can stabilize fast enough before Vaga just, like, blows it up. Because that is something that Vaga, as a deck, has been known to do, let's just say. Vaga is not exactly the most passive of decks. Because if I remember, one of the Azida Haka is, like, a restand, and another one, it's a restand against 10k and a crit. And the second one, from memory, like equips functionally the buff Sagara shield. But I'm sure April will scream at me if I'm wrong, so I'll learn the hard way. Because yeah, the thing with so for example, a lot of stuff we've been seeing recently is things like Vaga starting to show their face again. Because obviously with Rakshasa coming out, obviously last year, but picking up a bit more steam now that it has a bit more consistency. We get to see decks that like go, I'm going to try and push you to 4 early, and if you don't die now, I'm going to do it next turn. And like that sort of pressure is like really, really scary, especially if you're a deck that takes maybe like till turn 3 or 4 to stabilize. So the fact that they can't just aggro you at all times, and if you hit 4 before their grade 3 turn, like, or on their first grade 3 turn, they will just try and like blow you out. And it's like at that point you need to have just naturally drawn the out somehow, or like a PG, or a way to guard that turn, because you're basically eating like 4 attacks before you're even looking at the fourth damage. And if at any point you hit it, they're just restanding, and you're high chance of probably just dying. But interesting enough, if I remember correctly. No, actually, I'm not even going to say it. I could just be wrong with the buddy fight stuff, so I'm not even going to say it. There's a solid chance I'm just wrong. But if I remember correctly, I think that the weapon Azida Haka can equip on you basically just says, like, plus 10k, plus a crit. Your Azida Hakas gain 5, I think. And then when you're attacked, you can just get 15k shield. So it's like a half a shield, but it's free, so can't complain too much. Yeah, it's been interesting seeing kind of like the crossover, because I think this is also technically a Dragon World deck. Or I can get to use some of the Dragon World cards, because obviously we're seeing a lot of drums running around. Was it Houston? Sorry, my apologies. Yeah, because I knew one of the American ones, I just always forget which one it was. Because I think I know who won, but I don't want to say any because I don't want to like accidentally stir anybody if I get the name wrong. because I sometimes only know people by Twitter handles, so I'm gonna play it safe and not attribute wins to the wrong people. I don't want to insult anybody by mistake. And yeah, actually, interesting enough, even we get to see cards like the Drum Buster. I'm gonna call him Drum Buster. Please tell me it. Drum Bunker. I'm gonna get blown up by April. Oh my god. Because I get to pump out a little bit of pressure because I believe this is the Drum Bunker that's like a 10k interceptor as well. Well, obviously the link attack state aspect isn't relevant, but it's a 15k swinger and a 15k beater and a 10k shield. So yeah, getting to pressure Yasi quite a bit here. Interesting enough, Yasi has a damage, unfortunately, a bit too far to the left. Yeah, it was a bit tough getting it in frame, because I know obviously different people set up their boards differently. We had a mat under this, but people chose to use their own playmat sometimes. Unfortunately, I probably should have enforced that a little bit more. So my apologies on that. I think it would have made the field a bit clearer. Because I believe Yasi is on 3 or 4 damage at this stage. Because obviously where she goes, she tries to go second here, but yeah, she's going to eat a lot of pressure coming out of Azzy Dahaka here. Because we know Albalys here is looking going, look, man, I'm defensive, but like, I need to rip that hand. I can't go that high that early. So yeah, I can see him staying really low, staying on 1 damage, committing his board, reviving things for free, and just trying to get to the point where, like, if he can survive Yazi's first Varga turn on 3 damage, he is probably in a really good position. Because from there on, you can start taking damage more freely, because you don't need to... You can start hoping for defensives, because you don't have to like hard guard the early attacks to not get Divine Skilled, because you're just getting Divine Skilled, right? It's like, yeah. So they're just confirming all their numbers. I think that's right. I think, is it Roxay? The grade 1 in the back that's like no intercepts. If you're on Varga and like when the thing in front of it dies, draw 1. But again, these are going to be effects are not relevant until you're on Varga, I believe. Yeah, he's going to be swinging Ray Guard here. Yeah, fair. Because yeah, again, you're trying to get to the point where like she's swinging rear here, because what you're trying to realistically do, so it triggers a Soul Guard. And because what you're trying to do here if you're Yasi is going, I need to whittle your board so that if you want to pressure me, you need to give me hand. And if you give me that hand, then you're obviously going to try and like die on my Varga turn, right? So Yazi's kind of setting up for her turn now, because she just now has to confirm damage. And the thing is, because all the especially the Dragon Wall decks, because they charge and draw a lot, as we saw in the chat, like, you do have a lot of deck out issues, and your hand doesn't like plus that aggressively or as aggressively as you really would like it to, because you can see that entire gauge is cards from hand, really, right? So like, even though they're charge and drawing every turn, presumably you're setting up like a Gargantua Punisher or something, but it can be really, really scary, because you are kind of turboing towards deck out, and all the body fight decks do thin really aggressively. So you can get in positions where you go and look, this game ends quickly, but like, I have to find a way to live somehow. Hopefully all the streams are still running okay, with any luck. Unfortunately, I'm trying multi-streaming on a different PC, so not everything is set up. It's why you see a big microphone on the main stage. I'm not using my normal ones, and it's a slightly different setup. Hence, we were a little bit late, so again, my apologies. We're trying to make up for lost time here. And yeah, after this game, we're probably going to do round 5, and then we're going to have to cut to top cut, because obviously we had some trouble in recording, unfortunately. Yeah, ooh. Yeah, just immediately trying to make that pressure. Unfortunately, no Azzy Dahaka in hand that we can see. Oh, no, I think, no, he rests himself for Act Phase, doesn't he? It's, I'm going to keep saying Piero. It's wrong. It's not Piero, is it? Pissarro, that's the one, Pissarro. Because I think it's press 1, draw 1. So it's just like a raw cycle. And then it's like at the beginning of your turn, I think if you're on... I think if you have the sword, it just like restands itself, right? Oh, it's that, or yeah, or if it's like the 100 Demon grade 3, it's like a Yemigeto or something. So yeah, there we go, Azzy Dahaka in hand. There we go. Yeah, counter charges 1 for the body call. Oh yeah, because he doesn't need a hand body call. Me when I'm silly, I'm goofy with it. Like I said, this is a yap sesh. Like, this is just an actual yap sesh from me. Shows you I have never played Azzy Dahaka. Own it. I probably should play it. Deck looks neat. But unfortunately, I am straight silly with it. So I just like haven't played it yet. Oh, okay. So this one, I guess you. Oh, so you gauge the top two cards of your deck. Okay, so no, it is just turbo deck count. So you just gain 5k, so it's a 15k beater, and you can pay 3 gauges to pop something. Sure. So I suppose, yeah, you'd want to do it, but I guess you still have to like save for the Gargantua Punisher. Yeah, and I believe if I'm not mistaken, the yeah, there you go. I was about to say the Azidahaka is the one that arms, right? Am I mistaken in saying that like one of these decks, I think it's Azidahaka, isn't it like really susceptible if you can't arm that your stuff gets bounced? Because I know that like Katana World at one point ran a draw trigger to try and bounce it specifically for like the Azidahaka matchup. Am I crazy? Am I just like schizoing out, or was that like an actual thing? Because we like theory crafted this deck for like a day. Yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting here because to see if Avast can really like pressure Yazi with maintaining enough hand to then not die to the Varga counter, so, like to the Varga counter attack. Because the Varga turn 3 is like probably I think one of the scariest turns in D if you're on anything above like 1 damage, or if they're like serving in a soup kitchen like a little bit that month. Oh yeah, I'm guessing the old Azidahaka like equips, right? Oh, so okay, so with the soul they both equip it when they're popped. Sure, sure. So yeah, you bounce it. Okay, that's the part I couldn't remember because I saw them side it out. And I'm like, wait, does this not work the way I thought it does? But yeah, just 28k are such awkward numbers in standard. It's such a trippy number. Because yeah, he can afford to go high here because Yazi's just going like, all right, I'm going all in. Because yeah, this is the kind of say where like you will just have to start like dropping like double Shuras and like recalling them, and just going all in, just trying to like get your opponent to fall, like by all means necessary. Because like that hand is like big, but you don't know how much of that hand is like real. You know what I mean? Because the thing is, for them to take the damage, for them to arm, they're incentivized to take the damage. But the earlier you take it, like the riskier it gets. But then it also means you're committing cards from hand on cards that would have been guardable with the weapon. But I think Yazi's still be perfectly happy here to lose 2 cards. Yeah. Roxay is just saying no intercepts, by the way. So don't even think about it. So, you know, that 10k and the 5k interceptors, like, they're not real. Like, they're just not happening. What I think is, like, a pretty decent spot to be in. Oh, okay, and calling the grade 1 behind the Vanguard as well. So that one doesn't do anything this turn, but it is setting up for next turn. Which is where Yazi's really going to be looking to seal the game out. Because Varga went from a deck that like, kind of gasses out really quickly to a deck with like a very clear like 2-turn plan. And Yazi's going to draw so many cards here. So yeah, calls a card from hand. Oh no, that's a damage check, sorry. So there you go, immediately searches the weapon out. There we are. Now, unfortunately, that is a defensive. So yeah, he's probably not the happiest about this. But grade 2 dies, you draw. Grade 1 dies, you draw. Then that's swinging for a 16 that doesn't hit anymore, unfortunately. Which is unfortunate. So I think there's a world where you just swing. Yeah, there you go. You just swing Vanguard. You go, look, whatever. I'm gonna like. I'm just gonna have to play a passive game. They both die. I draw 2. Wait, does Roxy not draw you a second card? Am I crazy? Is it not when the thing in front of it dies? Am I hallucinating? Oh, okay, so you just, like, didn't draw an extra card. Okay. Oh, sorry, the grade 1 doesn't draw. Sorry, my bad, my bad. Like I said, I'm hallucinating. I'm tripping. Yeah, the last swing of the Vaga here, swinging for, again, big numbers. But, unfortunately, with no crits being checked, Albalys is able to live this quite easily, but his deck is probably running pretty thin right around now. So the question really does become, do you have enough to close it out? Because with a hand as big as Yasi's, like, odds are that Rakshasa is in there. Like, if the Rakshasa's not in there, then, like, you're chilling, but even then, right? Because it meant the Yasi basically lived the turn on, like, did the whole turn on 1 CB. So she's basically saving her CB for her big Rakshasa turn to try and close the game out. Because you just activate Persona Ride plus, like, double Shuras plus, like, boosters. Like, you're just going in. You're going for the game. You're like, trade offer. You lose. Thoughts? Yeah, she's like, big hand. Counting drop zone, sure. Yeah, immediately swings from the back row. I believe this one is still swinging for 23. Is that correct? No, sorry, 28, isn't it? Because it's 5k off of the Azidahaka. Off of the weapon, right? Damage check, sure. CB1, restand, swing again. Yeah, immediately shows that. Ooh! That top cut Elementaria, very nice. Very nice flex. That top 4 Elementaria, very cool. First check. Nothing. Second check. That's a heal. But the heal does not go live. There's no way. So yeah, Yasi goes high here to just deny as much heal as possible to try and close that game out. She's like, I think Yasi's happy spot here is 5 damage. She's like, I need to stay here. I'm going there and I'm staying there. Yeah, I was really thinking out those attacks. Like, how do I need to pressure maximum value here? Because, again, her hand is big, but realistically, like, he doesn't have, like, any Buddy Fight deck doesn't have the benefit of time. Shows that PG. Yep, restand heal. Very cool from the Hazidahaka. Guards it. And last swing. Surely we have enough for this. Surely. That's what? 8, 13, 23, 33? Sure. 33, 38, sure. There we are. And Gargantua Punisher takes the damage. Thoughts? Yep. CB1, I think it's like pay 4 gauge. Discard it. Swing Vanguard one more time. And she heals. Oh, it's just that good. Unfortunately, she cannot guard it on a kind of just a crit. And Gargantua Punisher for the game. That is a little crazy. I'm not gonna lie. The like closing it out with Gargantua Punisher is like really peak. Very flavorful. I like it. But guys, don't go anywhere. I'll be right back with round 5. I believe we have. Ooh. That's an interest. I believe Azidahaka is potentially coming back. Thoughts? We'll see you guys in just a moment. We're going to check what's happening there, but we'll be right back. All right, guys, welcome back. Unfortunately, I lied. Round 5 is when the recording imploded. So unfortunately, we're going to be going straight into Top Cut for D. Like I said, D day 1 was a rough recording. We lost like most of Swiss, which is really unfortunate. We've not used our recording method since. Unfortunately, it was a little bit too unstable. And again, apologies to everybody who came up on stage and had their game lost to that. Again, really sorry. Hopefully, with any luck, we're doing everything we can to make sure that doesn't happen again. But guys, what we're going to do is we're going to transition over to the main match screen, where Axel is not on buddy fight yet. I believe the... Oh, that's what's happening. Sorry. Oopsie. Sorry, my apologies. That is not the correct deck list. Let me reload them for you. Where we have Michael Winley versus Axel. So, oh, that's not correct. There we go. We can record that. We can adjust them appropriately. There we are. And what we can do now is change that from Stoichia to what it's meant to be, which is Dark States. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be, honestly, just hit play there. So again, top 16. Again, we had a really cool selection of decks making it here. And here we got Heartluru versus Leonorn, which obviously Leonorn recently got a brand new form with Charmand, and kind of like Prison, starting to show up a lot more at events. And it's really been impressive seeing what that deck is up to. It's like a deck that's kind of so far has really, if we're honest, like performed in Japan a lot more than in the West and in the English-speaking format. But nonetheless, we're going to get to see what it's doing when it's sending Michael Morbius straight into going second. Again, both decks very much liking to go first, and very aggressive decks with very big numbers behind them. Mainly Leonorn here is going to be the thing to watch because, again, the new Leonorn is able to act as a booster. It gives every single Leonorn kind of real support, I suppose. It makes them all 1k grade 1s that can boost, and the new one goes to Soul to draw a card. And then at the end of the battle, it can put a Leonorn from rearguard or hand into Soul to regain a drive when it restands. And this list, interesting enough, running 4 Vivachis, no Traumans, so kind of committing all in on the Vivachi turn, convinced that your numbers will be big enough that Persona Ride doesn't need to come up until turn 5. One of the biggest weaknesses Leonorn has had in recent years has been the fact that once you switch onto Vivachi, you don't trigger Persona Ride. But, despite the fact you're in the, I think it's the Unison dress, it does mean you kind of have a significant fall off on turn 4, which is when a lot of decks are looking to seal out the game. So, be interesting seeing how that pans out. I mean, clearly it's been working out well so far. He is in top 16. Yeah, immediately started to try to do it, but thankfully for Michael, like Axel is guarding this, which means these are cards out of the hand, which is the most important thing here. But yeah, I believe he did take 2 damage there. Yeah. Like at this point, Michael knows he's going second, and like he's just going to all in, just push every turn. You basically try lane as much as you can. You push as much pressure as you can reasonably, and yeah, you just hope that you're able to edge out your opponent, because the thing is, because Leonor needs a lot of board, the ability to clear that board before they're able to access it is really, really important. But yeah, unfortunately, with those token generators, it's going to be harder than it looks. So the thing is, you're going to do like this, and then after everything gets popped, you just move the fairy forward. You move the Rosarium forward, and your numbers just become immense. Yeah, just pushing a bit of pressure there, pushing a bit of damage. Seeing what looks, is that not net? Is that an energy cycle in the front row? No, right? Yeah, unfortunately, the glare there was a bit egregious, so it became kind of difficult to, let's call it, tell cards apart sometimes. But yeah, immediately searching the second order out. Again, like the fact that Heartlaru can search 2 out is so helpful. Because like if this was an early D deck, that would be like, hey man, you're getting 1. Like, buddy, you're getting 1. Maybe you're getting none. Maybe you're just going to have to hard draw these babies. Like, you don't know. Yeah, top 5 cards. Thoughts? Are we finding anything good? Maybe? Thoughts? No? Okay. Yeah, eyeing up the bunny there. Yeah, there's a bunny and horse, yeah. This is one of those cases where like, you normally would want to add horse to hand here for shield, but there could be an argument here just to like, you know, just bunny and just deck them, because you are playing the aggro game and you're going to start needing defensives real soon. And you can see how Michael's thinking about it. Yeah, it's a tough decision, but yeah, I think he's prioritizing the shield at this stage because we were talking about the min-maxing early, but this is one of those cases where guaranteed shield is better than theoretical shield. Yeah, again, putting the Blavia in because you see the Avarice Rester there, and I'm not seeing 4 orders yet, so there's a good chance you're going to need to draw them later on. And like, yeah, you can make the argument like, oh, but like if you see the orders, then like you're reducing targets, but you now need to see the orders, right? And if you look at Avarice Rester, it is functionally more copies of the order. So I believe Michael's list is on 2 of them, which means he's on functionally 4 orders left, which is infinitely more important, I think. Yeah, and he's going to call out Freddy Fazbear as well as the horse, the block horse, the Lego man himself. First check, PG. Yeah, that's going straight to hand and 8k at the plant token. Again, it doesn't matter, but you know, sure, it may as well at that point, right? It's not doing anything otherwise.
And he's looking to go and swing Vanguard. Just 18. A raw, humble 18. Thoughts, how we looking? I saw a massive hand on Axel's side, but at the end of the next turn, he could be looking at something a lot more considerable. Because the thing is, like, the thing with Hardluru is, like, your numbers are really telegraphed. But there is also a sense of pressure in that because your opponent has to kind of always account for those numbers, plus, like, a theoretical 30k or an average, like, 10 to 20k that's, like, floating. And it's going somewhere. So it's like having to account for that with and without defensives is, like, where a lot of the kind of experience gets to shine through, especially for standard. Because, like, yeah, like your bear on Persona Rides is like, what is it, like either 33 and then 45. Then your Blavey loss is like 38, restanding on 48. And then your Vanguard's like 41 triple drive, but then, like, your triggers can be assigned in different spots. So really, really important to, like, be able to visualize those numbers and allocate your shield value not only correctly, but, like, efficiently. Yeah, Michael's laying up his hand there. He goes like, that's a big swing you got there. You do gotta think, it's like, Michael's sitting on 3 PGs, but, like, the trouble is you do PG this, but it's like, it's a PG you're going to need to keep using, right? Ooh, blank crit. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So last one, you gotta, what? Yeah, I didn't choose the Vanguard restand there. Or is it locked behind your opponent? It might be locked behind your opponent being grade 3, I'm gonna be completely honest. I think the Vanguard restand is locked behind grade 3. Yeah, so you either choose 2 regards if your opponent's grade 3, you can restand the Vanguard. Sure. Yeah, only being able to push 1 damage through is not ideal, but getting to rip a PG out of your opponent's hand is something you're never really upset about. Because then you're like 1 big pressure tone from ripping the other 2 away, and then it's scary. Then it's really, really scary. There we go, yeah. I'm going to call out the grade 1. Going to unfortunately have to CB1 to bind the grade 0. Thoughts? There we are. Show you the CB1, yeah. Unfortunately, we haven't seen the order, so we are, like, desperate here. Because, yeah, we're drawing 1. Yeah, unfortunately, we're going to have to bind the 0 to find a 3rd order. Because, yeah, you want to do this because you're going 2nd, and also you're going to be triple driving, right? So you're trying to, like, check triggers or Avarice Resters at this point. Or, I mean, ideally the order, but, you know, once we don't draw the order. Because, yeah, you just really, really want to be making sure here that you're on 4 orders next turn. Otherwise, if you're not, it's going to be so rough to try and play this out. One, two, three, four, 5. Oh, we're seeing 2. Okay, yeah, again, you're thinning it. Ooh, only 1 toy you're choosing. Okay. Interesting. I thought I saw the horse in there as well. Yeah, checking out his drop zone, seeing what's missing. Yeah, there you go, putting a bunny in. Because, yeah, like, the bunny, because it's a top 3 thin one, like, it's almost it's almost never a feels bad card to put in, right? Yeah, there you go, putting the horse out. Unfortunately, there's going to be no effect here, but since we are only looking at, since we don't have the bear here, and we're only restanding one thing, I don't think it's the end of the world. I think this is probably fine. Like, I think you care more about this just hitting numbers. Yeah, like, just this being 28 is just so nice. Because, yeah, it's 23, and I believe it's, what, 30... 26? 26, 36? Oh, sorry, 31, isn't it? First check, second check, third check. That's a critical trigger. I mean, can't be too mad at that, right? Yeah, so yeah, all effects of the Blavey there. Because obviously the Blavey on the left has a crit built in. So you go power to the Blavey that already has 2 crit to this one. You just want to make that a little bit harder to guard. Yeah, he's going to go plus 10k as well. So, and that one's real sizable. It's like, what, 48? So it's like 20 and 48? Oh, sorry, 23 and 48? Well, yeah, you go for the 48 first here, because on no defensives, that calls for upwards of 3 triggers out of their hands. And all a PG. But if it's a PG or more, then happy, right? Oh, what are those 2 crits? Presumably with an intercept? Yeah, sure. And another 5k from hand, sure. So we're giving Rosarian Fairy as well. So we're ripping 3 whole cards from hand. That one's a 1-card guard, but that means this turn took quite a lot out of your opponent's hand, so I think you're pretty happy with this. Yeah, unfortunately the bunny dies, but at this point I think Michael's priority is just survive, survive, survive. Yeah, the Cinceret as well. Like, it's like how it's made for Leonore and Mac, but we've not really been seeing it too much outside of premium Mac Loop, I suppose. Because what it effectively does is it lets you bot deck itself and choose one of your units and make it 15k base. We set its original power to 15k until the end of turn, which is pretty good, believe it or not. And I believe it basically acts as an energy cycle when you discard it. But yeah, Michael's just reading the effects, double checking. Because if I remember correctly, Vivace restands 2 things, I believe? Or was it 3 things? Yeah, with 3 or more units, you choose 3 of your units, restand them, they gain plus 5k minus 1 drive. There we go. So it's triple drive split across 2 attacks, functionally. Imagine if you maintain the Traumend effect. Oh, twin drive, very cool. Yeah, but the thing with Vivace, I believe it's on attack, stand everything, and then boost. Yeah, so you kind of get 5 attacks, or 6 attacks that way. So you go swing, effect, restand everything, boost with everything, Soul Blast 1. There you go, gonna draw 1 because of the Luster Dragon restanding. Mike's gonna PG that, he goes, nope, I ain't dealing with that, nope, no way, nuh-uh, no shot. First check energy cycle, second check energy cycle, that's rough, buddy, that's so rough, oh my god. There you go, plus 5k to front row. Vanguard restands, I believe he's now just 28 or 18. 18 1 drive. Michael's laying up that hand. He's like, I want 4 damage. I only die to a crit, right? Right? Because I believe he has 1 more PG in hand, right? So I think you guard this, because if they check a crit, I think you're dead anyway, right? Because Michael's only 3 cards in hand, I believe. Oh, twin cast plus crit. OT pass, thoughts? No, blank, okay. Check, you probably take this one and, like, can, like... Oh, because they're both, what's it called, aren't they? So you take this and you just got the other. Yeah, show them the PG, no discard. There you go. To be fair, the other way around, you would probably just have to, like, PG one, like the 2 crit swing, and just take the other. If you had enough to, if you didn't have enough to guard it. Oh, and Michael has the Persona right, but more importantly, does he have the 4th order? Don't ask a man his salary, a woman her age, or a Hardluru player if they have access to their 4th order. Does Michael have it? If you're Persona writing, surely you do, right? Digging deep. Have we got it in? Have we got it in us? Oh. EB3. Call out 3 things. 1, 2, 3. Trying to deck thin as much as possible. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're going to try and do 2 top 3s. 2 top 3s. Try and find the order, and then we can use the fluff to add the order back to hand. Again, so when we were talking earlier about optimizations, like, these are the kinds of decisions you can make that can, like, really reward you. Say, finds a flop, but, like, that's fine, because if you don't find an order, you still want a thin one, right? Because the deck's really thin. So yeah, putting the bear in. Second top 3. Like, it's so small. Michael's like, surely I find it, right? First. Oh, there we go. That's the order. He finds it. That easy. Michael's like, yep, that's exactly what I'm going for. It's just that easy. Because the thing is, like, whiffing the 4th order here is so huge. Because just not being able to restand both of your front rows is just like a death sentence at this stage in the game. Because next turn, if Axel shows him the Persona right, it's so cooked. It's so over for Michael. And there we go. That's going to be the 4th order. The most clutch order I think I've seen in a while. Michael whiffs, but Michael's happy to whiff on a deck that small. Because when you're triple driving and the deck is it's this late in the game, yeah, you don't want to be decking out. I can tell you that much. But yeah, look at those numbers. Oh my goodness. Like, that fluff's going to be 33k, 38k on the other side. Oh, sorry, 233 is because the blade he's not new. So 33, 33, 45, 40, then 43. You know, your Vanguard's like 41k. Yep. So Bear's going to go first here for 33k. Yeah, this stage Excel's looking at the numbers going, man, I don't know about all this. Like, I don't know, man. Oh, showing us 1 energy cycle. How are we looking? That's another energy cycle. He's like, man, I need card draw bad, bro. I need it bad. That's another 15. That just about guards it. Another 33. Again, like, the fact he's drawing this desperately is just trying to get as much information as he can. He's trying to get a trigger count going. Because again, this is a triple drive on a thin deck. Like, you are never confidently no-guarding this. Because that's the thing, like, with decks like Leonorn, your hands are big, but so many of these cards are, like, pieces, things you need on the board, like Persona rides, and it's like, because you need so much on the board, that hand might be, like, 11 cards, but it's only actually, like, 6, right? And, like, that makes your turns so much scarier. Like, thankfully against Hardluru, there's no retiring, but like, you still can't afford to just drop your entire hand every turn. It's just so scary. Because those cards are pieces, they're all like 5Ks. Like, you don't have very much shield gaining in Leonorn. Not anymore, at least. Meanwhile, Michael's doing a trigger count on Axel's side. And, it is like the tension here is so high because we've had so many rounds this year where like Michael would make top 16 or like the first round top count, like something would go wrong. So like at this point, Michael's like really feeling the pressure. Because yeah, unfortunately, with people using their own playmats, it does mean we don't quite get as good of a vision of the damage zone as we'd like. But because I believe Axel at this stage is on 4 or 5 damage, so you really can't be taking damage here if you can't be afforded to be taking damage to call it willy nilly, because he will just die. Yeah, he's trying to map out the turns, but the thing is, like I was saying earlier, triple drive on a deck this thin, there's just so much variance there. Because like remember as well, your Baron restat, yeah, it's going to be a crit. And that's going to be GG. Unfortunate for Axel, just off, just shy. Next card over trigger. Oh, you hate to see it. It's so unfortunate, but nonetheless, a game very, very well played. So guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with top 8. And after top 8, we've got, unfortunately, like I said, trouble with the top 4 recordings. So we got top 8 and grand finals left for standard. So guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in a couple minutes. Get yourself a drink. We'll be back very, very shortly. See you guys.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to top 8 of BCS France. Again, this is a rerun of Mofo for anybody who's missed it. Like I said, we didn't get a chance to record it at the venue, and unfortunately, technical difficulties meant we lost a lot of standard. So again, we skipped like rounds 2, 5, 6, 7, and top 4. Thankfully, premium we only lost one round. So again, apologies for that, but do bear with us. We're going to probably be restreaming premium and potentially, with any luck, even Greece at some point this week. As for exactly when, I'll be able to let you guys know in the next couple of days. But if you want to know, do stay tuned by following us on Twitter at EchoCBZ. But what we're going to do is we're going to be transitioning straight over to the main match screen, where we're going to be kicking off the top 8 cut. Here we have Mr. Morbius back again with Hartlery, like we saw him win top 16, facing Brian. Again, one of the kind of long-standing French stars, playing Nirvana. So Jiva. I wish it was Maha. Nirvana Jiva. So one of the things we're going to be seeing here is, ooh, Jiva going first! Jiva going first! Brian is probably one of the better Jiva players, especially in Europe. And we've seen him have an absolutely insane run. So obviously he had a fantastic performance here in day 1. He comes like 2nd place in day 2. And like, again, kind of like a very consistent performing player who's been very, very good. He's been a Narukami one-trick for premium for like years. So if there's ever a European top with a Narukami, there is a non-zero chance you're looking at a Brian top. And yeah, even getting to see just a deck, like we saw kind of Hartleru's game earlier on, and like how much pressure it's able to output. But Nirvana's nothing to scoff at. Like, if Jiva's able to, like, here, like, just open the R's, you're already starting to thin your deck out and kind of setting up all the pieces that you need in order to really control the game from the moment you write grade 3 onwards. Let me actually just adjust the top 8 to be a bit more centered. Again, sorry about the sizing. Again, new PC, OBS, like, imported mostly fine, but not entirely fine. So it's a bit of a learning experience. This is the PC we used to stream on years ago. So it's been strange coming back to it. We've been on the portable setup for so long. But yeah, Michael here obviously finding the grade 1. Obviously searching the order of the grade 1 in the right line. With any luck, so the thing with Hartleru is on average you're going to be finding probably like 5 to 6 toys off of your searches. So it's really about making sure like you're able to find the orders around that to make it happen. So obviously we're just going to find the order straight away. Top 5. With any luck, you're probably looking for like maybe like a bunny and a horse or something. No, bear and horse. Yeah, I'm more than happy with that. Sure. Especially if you're able to find an order early. So I can't actually quite tell if that's what's in the drop zone. But if you find a bear, then like you're actually a lot happier discarding orders. Because what you'll find a lot of players, and again going back to the optimizations and like decision making in these decks, a lot of players will find the order and go, oh, like bro, easiest discard of my life. So yeah, Michael there finds a trigger and 2 PGs. So like obviously none of them are leaving the deck at this stage in the game. No way, not this early. Especially like it's a deck like Jiva. Especially when like those fronts really do help hit those magic numbers. So going to 33, for example, when we saw most of your front row being 23, after an outpour boost 28. So now you're necessitating your opponent finds a trigger, or it's a 1-card card. It's like you're never thinning these cards out. But yes, so again, tri-lane here, we can see the Folklore puts him to 4. So again, really, really good going second here with this build. Not to mention that the thing we were talking earlier with the decision making is like a lot of Hartleru players early on will just take, they'll just accept, oh, another PG, sure. They'll just, so yeah, he might have not had this if he took the damage, for example, or if he thinned it out, right? A lot of Hartleru players will just discard the order immediately, going, oh, I'll just find the bear, it's fine. And then when they don't find the bear, and then they don't have access to their 4th order, and they're screaming, and they're like, oh, I bricked. So it's these sort of decision making of like skewing your odds, if you will. So yeah, actually, one of the things you're going to get to see here is you see that Brian took the CB there, right? But he calls the front row. That's an interesting choice. But yeah, immediately going for the Maha. Oh, sorry, for the mirrors. Putting the Shraveri and Hemilda earlier into Soul. So again, you're only getting 1 resolution here, so that's fine. You're just going to get to draw a free card. And get a 15k intercept out of it, which is really important. Alpor immediately, again, abusing the fact that you're going first. Because unfortunately, Alpor is not boosting here. But it could be. But the thing is, as well, is because Brian is on Arcs, is very now Arcs, so the CB1 Pot of Greed, you do find Nirvana players will often take that first damage now because it's just free plus, right? Like, there's no reason not to. And yeah, top 7s finds that Stravarina as well.
So, again, has a free discard fodder for next turn, functionally. And yeah, with nothing to... Like, the no boost is unfortunate, but again, 8k is absolutely fine. You're still happy with that. Yeah, so it's 8, 10, 15. Oh, sorry, 20. 20. Because, yeah, the mirrors is not grade restricted. It just gains 10. It's really, really strong. Takes the damage. It's not a defensive. It looks like a PG as well. Yeah, shows him a 15k. Sure. Goes drive check. Well, thanks. Detach one, draw one. So I believe this is a 20k still. Oh, he's like, no, drawing the heal diabolical, no. So he's like, yeah, it's looking at, what, 20k? Oh, sorry, yeah. Doing his draw now. Because, yeah, he realized he didn't drive check, so that was the heal. Yeah, the healer is so big, actually. Oh my god. Because, like, that's the one thing with Jiva, like, especially if you show him the Ox early, like... The Ox is really good because you can CC and heal out of it, but, like, damage denying yourself here potentially is, like, really rough, right? Because, like, where Michael's going second, there is a world where he can't just, like, swing Rays, which doesn't do much, but it does lock out Brian's turn 3. Because Michael obviously has this CB, right? So he gets to, like, delay Brian's pressure by 1 turn, which is, like, quite significant. Because it doesn't take them much to rebuild, but it does take them something, right? And, like, oftentimes that something is just enough to like, pressure your opponent out. Like, oftentimes a little bit is just enough. Ooh, the Avarice Rester, you do love to see that. So yeah, that's a third order online already. So yeah, obviously he's gonna thin one from, like, search one in hand, but, like, he has the bear, right? So you're happy to discard them. And it's great because it now buys him a turn as well, and unlike last game, he now doesn't have to dedicate a CB to finding it. But if he does, then he's live, right? He just got all 4. So there's a world here where, like, he just keeps it and just goes to the 4th next turn and just rides it out. Yeah, the thing is, like, there's no need to, like, stress it, right? Like, you just base yourself. And yeah, hits 2 as well, which is really important. Really impressive. Yeah, rests 2 orders, finds... Yeah, puts a card into soul. I believe is a Blavey loss he put in. Yeah, just goes raw in for the... Yeah, because EB7, so he's going to draw an extra card here as well. So, ooh, and a front trigger is huge, bro. Huge! Yeah, draws one. Such a big hand going second. That's crazy. Yeah, so he's swinging for 26. That's a 10k shield. That's absolutely fine. That's going to be 10, 28, 28 to 20. And he's going to take it because, yeah, you're not giving him 2 cards, no way. But it's a second trigger, which is unfortunately wasted. But yeah, just seeing the value on Trickstar and Suendi is just so insane. Like, as somebody who's been, like, a Trickstar main for so long, it's so crazy seeing that card. It's, like, actually custom. It's insane. We have the Jiva for the top, I believe it's top 7 for a Prayer Dragon. Yeah, finds the Apparaja. As happy as can be. Yeah, Apparaja effect we'll find. Yeah, so we still lost the Oz here. Presumably we find the grade 1 Prayer Dragon that can add the Oz back to our hand. Oh, another Trickstar. Okay, sure. Interesting. Really prioritizing the shield value here. Oh, it looks like we just have it in hand. Sure. Oh, what are we looking at there? Oh, sure. It's another Persona, right? Sure. Yeah, here we're looking for the Stravarina effect to draw a card. Yeah, and then going straight into a bar, draw another card. Soul Blast 4, pop 2. Yep, popping the 2 back rows. Yes, sir. So yeah, the thing is, like, your resend target at this point is more likely going to be, like, probably the bow. Because there's a world where the bow just swings, like, potentially like Rhaegar. Because yeah, he's checking for the restand conditions, and it's just on attack CB1. Chooses that unit in the overdress, crossover dress and stand it. Because again, Bao needs 1 or less rear guards, and Michael Morbius might just be happy to oblige. The thing is, you run, like, you're never going to, like, not swing, like, to get the drive checks first, even if you pop the front row, because what's going to end up happening is, like, you don't want to risk the Drag Vader being checked there. Like, it's just so not worth it. Michael will take it. That's not defensive. CB1, stand Bow of Irina. 33. Oh, sorry, 23 triple drive. And on the blank, that's going to be a 15k for a 1 pass. Maybe show us a horse for a 2 pass. He's thinking about it. Again, not an easy decision at all. Yeah, so yeah, there you go, showing us the 2 pass. First check. Oh, I think just double checking the numbers there. One pass. 2 pass, 3 pass. Yeah, sure. First check. Elementaria, second check. Ars Varina, third check. That's a defending roll. Or defensing roll. Yeah, not as much pressure as you'd really like, but the intercept does leave Michael open to the Bow of Irina swing. The Bow of Irina, I believe, also got the 5k, so we're looking at what, 13, 18, 18, 26? 26 into Michael's 10, which is still 20k shield for 1 pass. Again, these like random one-off drive checks can really catch you off guard. Yeah, give them the restand heal. Yep. Making a basically OT pass. Yeah, so that puts him 38. 43. That's a crit. Oi, oi, oi. That's a 33 column. 33 against 10. That's a 25k shield out of Michael's hand. So unfortunate. And then there's a world where Michael looks and goes like, can I... Like, going to 5 is really scary, but can I just take it? Probably not, right? Surely not. God, it's actually such a scary position to be in because like your opponent currently has like 20k on board, a decent sized hand. Your hand is 3 cards, and you're gonna have to drop at least 2 of them if you want to live this turn and not go to 5. But the issue is you have to aggro your opponent, which means next turn you're gonna have to deal with this all over again. No guard, no guard, goes to 4. That's a heal. Goes to 5, stays at 4. It's another trigger, but it's not a heal this time. Very unfortunate. Stand and draw 4 cards in hand in a dream. Can Michael crack this hand? That's the thing. Jiva like is a surprisingly tanky deck now because all of your Trickstar and Suendis being 10k shields, like from original dress, is just so important. There you go. We find it. We play the order from hand. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 and 2. There we go. Making up for that whiff earlier on. Very cool. There we go. We're looking at that EB3. What's it looking like? Because yeah, we're trying to think about what we're going to put into Soul here. So obviously we got the bear, we got the horse. I believe we got the horse. We got a Blavey. So it's between horse and bunny basically. And yeah, I think at this point, like you're so behind, I think you need triggers to start working their magic a little bit. They're going to go EB3. Then we're going to go Coast Shark, sure. 1, 2, 3. That's going to be a bunny. Oh, sorry, not a bunny, a bear. Because that was like OT Persona Ride bear. There you go. And you're going to go CB1 draw card. Because again, Michael is so low on hand. He's like, he just needs to live. And the thing is, what Brian here does as well is, like, even beyond the draw effect of the upper arches, what it also does is it means that if he uses the Trickstar under them, they are still in the crossover dress state, which means in a world where he has to burn his entire hand and can't remake new units next turn, he still has their crossover dress abilities, which is really important. More so for Stravarina than for Bauer in this case. There you go, yeah, shows us the Trickstar. Because again, the 15th is like, you don't want to give him 5Ks for this, it's so not worth it. Like, you do want to maintain some semblance of hand size, right? So yeah, here you are going to be swinging for 28. Yeah, Brian is just going to take it. That's a draw trigger, though. Oh my goodness, bro, not like this. Yeah, sending Brian to just immediately being 23k base. So yeah, he's now being poked more than stabbed. Yeah, it's going to be a 31k swing. Brian says, sure. Brian says 53. Do your worst. Yeah, 3 pass. First check, second check, third check. All blanks. That's so brutal, man. That's so brutal. Especially, again, like in a deck like Heartthrough that thins so much, a lot of your shield value does rely on the fact that, like, once you thin all those cards, you start drawing your triggers. Ooh, damage check the Persona, right? But he already has one. It's not going to be a crit as well. Oh, he's giving power to the rear guard there. Interesting. Yeah, because I guess, yeah, he doesn't care if he clears the bow or it makes no odds. And with it being a 5k either way. Because the thing is, here, if he gives it to the Strav Arena, it's 5k either way, but it's also the Trickstar, which means it's no k. Whereas if you give it to the Vanguard, then that Curse Shock is immediately like honing in on the Strav Arena, and then it's a 15k shield, which is just not worth it, right? So he just goes 10k shield. And yeah, it's again, these tiny little decisions, because how many of you sitting at home would see that second defensive and go all effects ban? And go, haha, now he swings rears. Except now, like, he basically saved himself 15k shield in hand, which is huge. Because, like, you don't care if Bauer dies, but you do care if Strav Arena dies. Because that's one less card that you now have to commit resources to remaking. And, like, there's no shame in it, but at the end of the day, like, it's just these kinds of small little decisions that really set, like, the good players apart from the great players, right? So, yeah, like, for example, there he's going to immediately revive the Predator that adds a card to hand, and I believe it's going to be an Ars Virina. Yeah, discard in order to thin out. Yeah, so he discarded the Strav Arena there before, and presumably a second Strav Arena drop, he can just thin a second one. Add it to the hand, there we go. And then he Strav Arenas, yeah, Ars Virinas this, sorry. And he can Soul Blast 1 to countercharge 1. So you can resolve Soul Blast 1 first, CC 1, and then put the entire drop zone into Soul. And again, now the drop zone's starting to look fairly sizable. Yeah, I think it looks like maybe like 11 to 12 cards. Which means you're looking at like, what, 25, 35, 35, 43, 43, potentially 48 if you give it the 5k, but the 5k probably goes to Strav Arena here. Actually, no, he's on 4. You probably give it to the Rs. But I don't think you go for the Rs crit this game until Michael is like literally on like no hand size. Because I don't think you can afford to lose all the shield value. Which is, I think, the one, like, understandable drawback to Ars Virina, is that, like, you oftentimes only go for the crit when it's, like, confirmed game. Because you just can't afford to lose, like, you know, 30 odd K shield just for no reason, right? Because, yeah, like, Michael's hand is not terrible, but 6 cards is not a staggering amount, right? Because the thing is, right, like, even if Michael has to burn 2 PGs this turn, that's still upward of 4 cards in hand, right? So, like, in a 6-card hand, you don't really have that much to play with. And, like, these are 5 attacks you're staring down, plus a potential saucy secret to drag Vader. Yeah, so there you go. Immediately swing for the 33. Shows him, yep. Shows him 38. Swings for what looks to be, what, like... 38, 43 as well. Takes 1. That's going to be a defensive. Oh, Michael must be breathing a sigh of relief seeing that. Yeah, Vanguard swing, CB1 restand build. That's a 33k, so that's still 15k for 1 pass on a triple drive Vanguard. Yeah, he's confirming the numbers, and he's like, yeah, these are big. And 15k after for 1 to pass after a defensive on a Vanguard with no booster is so scary. There you go, it shows in the PG. That's going to be first check. Draw trigger. Oh my god, bro. All on Strav Arena, second check. Alpor, third check. That's a heal trigger as well coming out on 5. Could not come at a better time. All effects Strav Arena. Swings confirm the number 5k going to the Ars Arena in front. Yeah, this is going to be 53, and Michael's probably going to have to be looking like he's going to have to take it on 3 cards in hand. 1 damage, and that is going to be game GG Well played with Brian moving on to the top 4 cut. And I'll give you a little spoiler. Brian not only makes top 4, but he clears top 4 and goes all the way to the grand finals. So guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes with the grand finals for standard BCS France. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back, guys. Welcome back, everybody, to the grand final of BCS France Standard. Finals, obviously, like I said, we had Brian make it all the way to the grand finals on Chiva, which is nothing to scoff at. I'm very, very happy for the guy. I believe he also made, I think it was top... No, that was Dorian. Dorian made top 8 in Spain. But, guys, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be transitioning over to the main match screen. We've got Le Protector versus Brian, kind of hamming it out for the grand finals, which is looking to be Virgila versus Jiva, which is a matchup you don't get to see very often. But guys, do stay tuned. We're going to be doing premium, not today, unfortunately, but certainly in the coming week, as well as standard for Greece ahead of Manchester. So yeah, again, like really, really impressive seeing Jiva make it this far. Because as we saw earlier, like, Brian is very happy to play like a very aggressive but conservative early game, where you kind of build the board for fairly free, and then you're able to just aggro your opponent out before you're starting to commit those XOD pieces from your hand. And you can see him kind of playing with like what you call like ruthless efficiency, I suppose. So yeah, like he keeps opening the Alpha Arena, which is pretty good, man. And here, yeah, you're probably looking to mill Strava Arena or mirrors, depending on what you're missing. Presumably Strava Arena here normally, though. Yeah, there you go. Unless you got the Shrine Hand, in which case you can do the Bower, I guess, which I think is what we're seeing here. But yeah, like, Virgila, especially with its bind, like, Jiva has anti-bind pieces, but we don't run them, right? Because they're so rare for them to come up. So it'd be really interesting to see how Brian navigates this specific matchup. But again, yeah, I know, like, France had a really strong showing, surprisingly, in France. But yeah, no, seeing the players do very, very well. And yeah, Brian going straight to 2 damage on that grade 1 crit from the Protector. Because, yeah, like, the thing with Virgila is you're able to apply so much pressure early because, like, on turn 2, you just don't ride. If you go second, your grade 1 is really big. If you go on your grade 2, if you commit a full board to aggro, your Vanguard is just built in 2 crit. Swinging for probably, like, anywhere between 18 and 23k, which is very, very scary. Especially when that thing is normally, like, a Shenri boosting it, which... Nothing to scoff at for sure. And yeah, you can see him discarding a Trickstar here, because again, you're just going to call another one, right? And then you're going to find Trickstar and Outpour. Yeah, immediately finds himself off the top 7, finds himself what looks to be is that a Strava Arena, I believe? If that's a Mirrors, like, oh my god, we are No, I believe that is a Mirrors Virina, actually. Can't think of... No, that is a Strava Arena. There we go. Okay, sure. Ooh, the Bustle behind the Vanguard. Sure. swinging for 13k. Looking at Protector going, do you have a 10k to give me? And Protector goes like, nope, I'm going to overguard this. No guard, and that's another Trickster, so it's already 3 out of the deck. So important. Because yeah, like, if we get these cards are all going to be exactly what you need in this matchup, which is shield. And the second you show your apples, like, those things have resist, and Vigilla can't interact with them anymore. So like Vigilla ends up having to bind like fairly low priority cards in this deck. Because you're always turning your Oz Arena into massive units. You turn all of your Strav Arenas into massive units. You can lose your Blaze Maidens, but at the end of the day, I don't think that particularly even matters. I think you just try and aggress early game. You lose them when you lose them. It is what it is. And just, you know, you'd rather they bind this than like any of your big XOD units, right? Because yeah, you can see all the grade ones finding him all of the Alpha Knights you can dream of. And the thing as well here is he's able to capitalize on the fact that because it searches for a name with a Vanguard with a different name than your Vanguard, on grade 2 it's able to find both Persona Rides and Alpha Knights, which is super important. Also, to those asking in the chat, this is a restream of of France. Unfortunately, we had trouble with the Greece flights, so that's getting recorded on site. Unfortunately, we couldn't make it this time. Which is a big shame. I was really looking forward to it. And from what I hear, the Wi-Fi there is really good, so we could have probably done it live as well, but it is what it is at the end of the day. We're probably going to get the recordings hopefully today or tomorrow. Yeah, it's going to be another Alpha Knights to hand. But the thing for Brian here is he's like, you know, Protector might be going, hey man, I'm not whiffing Alpha Knights this game. And Brian's looking at him going, yeah, but your hand is like all Alpha Knights, bro. Like, I think this is fine. Another Oz Varina. He's just that good. He's just that good. He's just that guy. That's the thing. I used to joke that like when you play Jiva, you just gotta play like you're the main character. You're that guy. You're just gonna see everything. Like you gotta play it like you're just gonna have it. Yeah, I'm gonna go top 7 for a Prayer Dragon here as well. That's looking to be Aparaja, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's Aparaja, sure. And yeah, there's a world here where, like, depending on his hand, he just searches out his 4th Trickstar here. And if he can Oz off of that, like, oh my god, there's so much shield on that board. But it is scary, because I believe Brian is on 3 or 4 damage at this stage. Which is, like, a lot to be on. Especially when your opponent's still grade 2, but that's just the kind of pressure Vigilla can output, right? Like, it's scary, but that's just kind of what it does. Another Trickstar, there we go. Brian going, you can bind, I can bind. I can do this too. Ooh, there we go. Yeah, okay, searching out the Prayer Dragon there. Yeah, going to add a card back to hand. Presumably going to be an Oz Arena here. Are we eyeing up Oz? 1, 2, thoughts? That's going to be a Bow Arena. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Okay, we're just going to go for a second material. Sure. And Aparaja here, yeah, just make it the double resist. Yeah, there you are. Just going for the Strav Arena and the Bow here. You're going to go Soul Blast 2, pop the Shenri, Soul Blast 2. Yeah, pop the Grey one. Because there's no point popping the Cosmo, because the second you ride up, you're going to search out the grade 2 Izero, and then you're going to revive the Cosmo, like the Sun Cosmo, whatever it is as well. And there's just no point, right? But with all the CB in the world, that's going to be 1 drive. It's going to be magic numbers. That's a crit. You're going to 1 pass, and he's going to say... Ah, he said, yeah, you got it, you got me. CB1, restand the Bow. Oh, crit. Defending roll. Oi, you're still happy to see it. That's crit. That's a blank. Swing. Ah, that's a nothing. Unfortunate. Oh, maybe it's not a... Was that not a crit? I thought that was. Might have been a heal. But the Vigilla saying, when you ride on top of it, I think you can top 7 or top 5 for a grade 2, but if you rolled a grade 3 Vigilla, you search your deck for a grade 2. And namely, this is any grade 2, so it can be your Azruas, it can be your Bind Girl, any of your ultimate skills, it can be your Twin Casts, so like you're incentivized to run grade 2 Regalis pieces as well if you can. Or your Dinos now, which is pretty nice, pretty nutty, pretty good. But yeah, the Azrua coming out here. Easy as can be. Because yeah, that's the thing with decks like Vigilla, he is able to pump out 3 attacks that are like relevant numbers while committing functionally 0 hand, right? Because like he rides up, he makes the grade 2 out of nothing. The grade 1 would revive itself out of nothing. He would Alpha Knights, which would replace itself on the triple drive. And he's able to like revive or search out a grade 3 and a ultimate skill from deck. Sorry, binds it. Again, doesn't go EB2, which maybe is maybe like a little suspect, but I think we EB... Did we EB3 last? No, we couldn't. Oh, we EB7 for a draw, sure. I don't know if I agree with that, but sure. I think leaving the outpour on the board is like giving your opponent value that there's like no reason to give them. But yeah, here we're just going to try and build a board here. Yes, we're going to go Soul Blast 1. Both of our things are going to get pumped by 10k. And then we're going to play the ultimate skill to try and find ourselves a booster. And and then Vanguard will also then be huge because of the ultimate skill, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do we find anything? Not particularly. Is there always just search out? Yeah, just find another Azro. It doesn't matter. It's just about thinning. Oh, interesting. So the Azro can actually move into the front row there. No, okay, I was going to say, that doesn't sound correct, but sure. Yes, that's going to swing for 23. That's a 15k shield out of Brian's hand here. How are we feeling, Brian? Come on. There you go, yeah. That's a normal 15. No need to greed. That's going to be a 33k swing. That might be a 50 and a Trickstar, I reckon. Most likely. Oh, we just take that's a defensive crit as well. Like I said, you just got to play like you're him. Like you are just him in this matchup. There we go. That's going to be triple drive first. That's a heal. Heal does not resolve because he is on 4 damage. Second check. PG. Third check. That's a Shenri. That's a second defensive. Sure. You know what? Sure. All right. Cool. Sure. 33 of the Vanguard. He goes, give me that 5k. And he goes, yeah, you got it, you got it, you got it. And then he goes, yeah, I was saying... give me that 5k. And he goes, yeah, okay, I got it. And then end of turn, because we used an ultimate skill, it goes to Soul, draw card, CC1. And now you're just... we've seen enough Alpha Knights. The question is, does he have the Persona right for next turn? Because oftentimes that is where these games are decided. Yeah, the Persona right on the Jiva as well. And yeah, now, like, just the fact that just off Persona Ride, all of your units are, like, ogling the 33k number is, like, crazy good. Because, yeah, like, Brian has to think about how to remake this board, because the trouble is, these cards are cool and all, but, that Apparaja protection is gone, buddy. Like, it's so gone, dude. So you gotta add a card to hand. You're gonna Soul Blast 2, pop the Azrua. And that's fine, because you're trying to basically stop the intercepts here, and you're basically denying your opponent 15k shield there. That's like hand ripping a trigger right there. So again, you're really happy seeing this. Yeah, Brian's really... I'm trying to calculate his turn out. He's gonna be like, man, I gotta be real precise with this. Because you can get punished so hard for it, for like getting this wrong. Discarding Osvirina. What are we going to be reviving? Trickstar plus. Oh. Thoughts? What are we looking at? What are we reviving here? Second Trickstar? There we are. Yes, we are. Yes, sir. And then we're going to be reviving a Cindy. The Cindy is going to add whichever crossover just unit we are missing. And the Osvirina is going to also go to Soul and thin us out a card. Did we resolve the Ozvarina? I don't think we have yet. Oh, okay, unless we're just not resolving it. We just need to hand. Sure. Yeah, I'm just going to resolve. There you go, yeah. Discarding the Apparaja here to try and thin one more card out of the deck. Another Apparaja, yeah. Unfortunately, that Apparaja doesn't resolve. Because the Apparaja is one place on anywhere but deck. So yeah, that's one Stravarina, and then he's going to draw a card. And the second is presumably going to be an Ozvarina. Yep, yes sir, and that's going to be a card to draw, and everything into the drop zone going right under it. What was it, 10, 14, 16, 18, 20, well, like about 20-ish? And yeah, just that is going to be 33k. That's the thing. I wonder if Protector's like hand is going to bite him after like so many Elf Knights showing up there early game. Like just being 33k off that is so strong. That's going to be a heal and need another 10. Yep, that's a draw trigger. Swinging unboosted. How are we feeling? Takes it. Oh, it's going to be a defensive. Bet you're happy if you're Protector now. Swing Vanguard, restand the front row. That's going to be another 33k. No guard. That's a blank. That's a crit. And the third check is going to be a PG. That's going to be a crit. Oh, was that not critical? Oh, there we go. And the sixth damage being a blank. And that is going to be GG, with Brian taking the grand finals of BCS France. So again, huge congratulations to Brian. Again, masterful display of how to play Jiva. It's been really impressive seeing, especially like, seeing the card, like the deck somewhat brick a little bit and still be able to draw all that back. Again, fantastic display coming out. But guys, huge congrats to Brian, but don't go anywhere. His journey is not yet over. Stay tuned to, I believe it's going to be, I think we're going to do this on Monday or Tuesday, probably Tuesday. We're going to be streaming BCS Premium for France. Don't go anywhere, guys. Thanks for tuning in. VODs will be up for any of those who missed it. But again, stay tuned to us on Twitter if you want to know exactly when it is that we're going to be going live. Unfortunately, like I said, we missed Greece this week, but the recordings should be coming in tonight. So we're going to be looking to do that in the next week or so as well. And we will see you guys in 2 weeks in Manchester. Don't go anywhere, guys. Stay tuned for the VODs. Stay safe, take care, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.